We'll talk about real select and real something. We'll make real money. All the other selectors are going to try. Just leave the place. Clear the area. Bring. Do what I tell them. And show them how we make real.
What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday to you. Mike Thompson. I'm on the Stylus League show. You might be saying to yourself, hey, Mike, what are you doing here on a Saturday? It's Saturday. It's not Friday. What's going on? It's because we have a very special episode coming to you today and for the rest of the month. We have a very special guest. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But before we do, this is episode 65. Let's bring in Bradley, my co-host. Bradley, how you doing? Did I go on too long? Pardon me. Pardon me. That was a long one? It's too much for you?
Shoot. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, it's early. It's early.
Oh, man.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Oh, snap.
I know.
Hold on.
Get that bling coffee in you real quick.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yep. You're looking kind of like a Cosby, one of the Bill Cosby kids over there. You got the fly collar shirt with the hat on. Time
out.
No,
I ain't putting nobody to sleep.
You're not one of the junkyard.
No one's going to sleep around me. All right, don't be doing that. Right?
Hey, I'm talking about not that kind of Cosby. I'm talking about Fat Albert Cosby.
You can't. It's all done. It's all
pre-prison Cosby is what we're talking about.
No, there is no pre. I can't even buy Jello no more. All right, it's done.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
thank you for saying I'm looking quite dapper. I appreciate.
You're very dapper. I'm over here in a t-shirt, but I'm representing. So hey, listen, who do we have somebody on the show today, right?
We do.
We have somebody.
No. I think some people call him the GOAT.
They might know this fella from somewhere.
They might know him.
Art director, assistant art director, XM Studios, James W Cain is joining us today. You guys, James.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
What's up, man?
Hey.
Not bad, thank you. Not bad. It's funny because, I forgot it's more, fairly early in the morning for you guys. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me. So
I'll be sleeping at 3 o'clock too, just so you know. I get
it's okay. We'll catch up.
Well, there's like a weird disconnect there. It's like because I thought, why? I was just watching that. I was like, why is Bradley so tired? You're like, what's he been doing? But of course, it's in the morning. So sorry, I do forgive.
Yeah. So listen, before we even get into this, I'm gonna let you know. I fanboy out on James quite hard when I was able to get him on. It's a big get for me because there are certain
It's
people that I
Christmas.
get really excited about when I see their work, and James is definitely in that small group of people. So before we get even into what our topic is today, I think what we should do, Bradley, is open up James's art station. So if anyone doesn't know who this gentleman is, we can bring him up to speed and show him what's up. You wanna pull it up here?
Oh, you got it?
No, I'll get it. I'll get it. I thought you were gonna get it while I was talking. That was the point of me like dragging it out.
We had this whole pre-show where we can set up and we could have talked through these things.
I could have mentioned it.
All right.
We were too busy gossiping, I think.
We had this whole, I tried.
Right.
You know how,
Sorry,
like,
guys. Sorry.
James, being art director that you are, you pre-plan, which is what you've seen me do, what you've seen me do, and things just go way left. Like it's hard to
Do you know what? I think it's because after a certain age, you realise that it's just not worth pre-planning anything because it just all goes to pot anyway. So yeah, just throw yourself in at the deep end and see what comes out. Actually, that's going to be the motto for like this month. So
kick it over to me, Bradley.
All right, cool.
All right. Can you guys see my screen now? Because I know I can't see you guys. You got the screen up there?
I do.
All right, listen. Let me tell you something about James W Cain, you guys.
Tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit.
This man does not mess around. He's a soft-spoken dude, a very polite fellow from the UK. However, he doesn't play around. Look at this. This is a problem for me. This work is a problem for me. Let me tell you why. I visited.
You mean that's not AI art generated? That's not AI art generated.
No.
No.
This particular one is not. This is not AI.
No.
But let me tell you why this piece in particular is an issue for me. I have a problem with collecting statues. I don't know if you know this about me. And
you suffer a little bit.
Bradley has made fun of me on quite a number of occasions, talking about where are you going to put all these things? Where are you going to put them? When I was in LA the other month, shooting my Intel commercial, I managed to go by Sideshow, and I saw what they had on the top secret floor. This is one of the pieces. But it's this piece, classic Spidey and Spider-Gwen, and I was like, one of these pieces I'm going to buy, and I don't know which piece. And I still am like, I love this Miles piece.
Buy mine. Buy it.
I listen. My fiance was telling me you have to get the Miles piece, and I was looking at it. I was like, I got to get the Miles piece. So anyway,
if I can get a little money from my check-ins, from my savings, I might be able to do that.
Just so dope. But listen, this is the other thing that was a problem. Now I know this is out of my price range, but this piece right here is freaking sick. This Batman right here, James, you did your thing on this one, dude.
It was a lot of fun. Also, let's mention the art director there, Martin Augusta, my partner in crime.
Wow.
Because a statue this big is all about, there's a massive amount of teamwork involved. When I hand off the sculpt, it goes to the engineering team. From the engineering team, it will go to the factory, and then it comes back for prototyping. Like the amount of effort we spent as a company making sure that cape did not lean.
Yeah.
it was about took them as much effort as it did me to sculpt it, I think. Dude, so there was a lot. There's a lot of stuff that goes into these things.
Just the details. So this, my friend Brad Grotman will be the only one that really appreciates this. You didn't have to do all this. The little things on his knuckles. Like, this is crazy, dude.
Well, Sean's artwork is so it's kind of occupies that space that a lot of comic books art, a lot of comic book art does, where it's not realistic, but it's not too cartoony either. I mean, I've been a fan of Sean's for a long time, since Chrononauts actually, and so I've always had in my mind how I would go about converting his work into sculpture, which really helped. I mean, the other thing is I couldn't do everything I wanted, because this is a commercial project and there were certain expectations that I had to meet as well visually, to please the licensor and XM. So you've got to factor all of that in. But yeah, it was great because Sean was great to work with, because he's obviously got a very unique vision about, especially with vehicles. If you've read any of the White Knight, the vehicles he does are just wicked. I would love to do all of those. I really would. He's just so good. So but he was also very easygoing with us as well. So I mean, I'd never sculpted a bike before, so I had to take apart a bike, not physically, but like with photos. I had to take apart and understand what all the bits did, and then put it all back together, and then invent some bits as well to make it work, and then come up with
James just said, I never did it before, but I need you to go way outfield because I'm about to knock it out.
Dude, yeah, I'm about to cause a lot of marital problems with this piece right now, you guys.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Dude, can we just take for a second the massive scale of this piece?
It's big. Yeah, it's big. Jeez. Very big.
Everything you have in here looks like it actually is a functioning piece that belongs here. It's not like, so one of the things I think is very common when I see, like people doing mechs and robots and things like that, is they just greeble the crap out of it, right? They just throw whatever.
Yeah.
This looks like a robot thing, and that's how I'd approach it, because I don't have a mind for that really. But man, oh man, like everything here looks like a functioning motorcycle.
There's kind of like that thing where you're trying to fool people a little bit into making it look like it works. Of course, if this was an actual, I think, and some people have pointed it out, if this was actually a proper bike, it would, it would probably fall on top of you and crush you to death before it actually drove anywhere. But I don't know if you saw that.
He has the thigh muscle. He can do it.
Yeah, he's got the chaps. He's got the back chaps on.
I love those chaps too, man.
That was another bit of feedback. Of course, the exhaust just literally blow right up into his face. So actually, that's why he's got a bit of a tan, and it's
exactly.
But people,
that's a bold placement for the exhaust right up at his face there.
But also, of course, the people saying, well, why has he got back chaps on? And that's the answer. He's got back chaps to protect himself from the bike exhaust. So that kind of tied together quite nicely. That was kind of a bit of fan fiction there.
I love this particular take on Batman. Like, this is even his logo on his chest, the stylized bat is beautiful. I'm looking for something where I can see it. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Dude, you did your freaking thing on this. Okay, all right, let me get off this piece because I'll be on this all day. And people are like,
that's fine. It's fine.
But that, now tell me about, and then we'll get to actually doing stuff. But James, just please trust that
he's with us all month, all right? This is the James show for the month. He's with us all month. We're all month.
Tell me about this piece, because I saw you've been promoting this a lot lately on IG and stuff. What inspired this?
So it's based on a book cover by a comic book cover by Riccardo Federici. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's a really interesting sort of series they did. It's called Death Metal Knights or something, something like that. I haven't read the comic book all the way through because I didn't like it. But I love the character. The character really resonated with me. I love Riccardo's painting of it. And what we were able to do was kind of, I think we didn't really want to do a Robin on its own, although I know a lot of the fans wanted that. We did want to be faithful to Riccardo's image. And so we decided to do this particular statue, and there was a lot of design choices we were able to make because, Riccardo's style is very realistic. He's got a fantastic painting style, but there were a lot of gaps that we had to fill.
Sure.
So we thought it was just a really fun project and something I'm pretty proud of because there's a lot of me in it.
That's nice. Did you sculpted this one, or you art direct?
100%.
Wow,
sculpted.
Nice.
again, with my partner in crime, Martin Augusta, on the art direction. Martin's great because Martin has a really good understanding of statues. You know, like this is the thing that not only do you have to be able to sculpt well, but you've got to understand this thing is going to be a physical statue. So if you look at the profile of the statue, it's kind of like, kind of looping over. And we had all sorts of things like where we were kind of trying to think about how is that going to balance, you know, like how does that actually work? Because the last thing you want is for it to fall over. And of course, I was actually, you know, we were talking before the stream about lean and sag with statues. Even we can put rods up, metal rods, to make sure, you know, they don't fall over, or they're supported properly. But of course, you still might get a bit of lean, and of course you don't want the fans hate that. You don't want that. Yeah. So you really have to, you know, figure out, you know, how this is going to work as a physical product.
I love how you have the S shapes going through everything, like from each of these angles. There's really nice S shapes to it.
Thanks, man. I mean, this is something that I'm trying to get through to my art directorship as well, like where shapes, where we are consciously designing shapes into the statues, and thinking about more about the compositions and the storytelling elements behind it, because as time is going on, there's more and more statues out there. There's more and more, I mean, people are covering the basics, and you've got a lot of custom statues out there as well. So what we're trying to do is add a bit extra into our statues, a bit of storytelling, more Easter eggs, but also more composition elements, so making the bases more focused as well, instead of making great big sort of bases that take two people to lift. I mean, we couldn't get away from that with the Batman on the bike. It's a big statue, but things like this Joker, for example, we were able to make the base a little bit more concise.
Fantastic. It's almost stylized too, right? Like it's not exactly it's realistic, but it still has stylized cues to it that are really, really nice.
It's difficult. I think with Sean's stuff, it's really difficult because if I had my way and the licensor wasn't involved, I would make it even more stylized and push it even more. And I know from interviews, Sean has said that as well, that he, you know, that he would like it to be more pushed. But the reality is, I'm not sure if the collectors would be ready for it. Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Well, perhaps they are, but the reality is, it's not a question that people want to answer. Want answered with their money. Do you know what I mean?
Not at $1,500 a statue, James.
No. So that's a lot. That's a lot of that's a big part of what we do as well. Like, we've got to really think about what's going to sell, or what's going to make people happy, as well as the licensor, as well as keep the artist gainfully employed and happy as well, you know. There's a lot of balancing going on, and it's a lot of fun though, especially as an art director, because you really do get to, well, firstly I get to shape the statue from a higher level, and also I get to sort of mentor the sculptors a little bit, which is a lot of fun too. So
it's dope. Okay, all right, I could be here all day for real. So let's go back to let's go back to what our theme is for today. So as you guys know, we let the guest choose what we're going to work on, and James picked out 2000 AD and specifically the Judge Dredd universe, which is really, really cool. So I want to go around the room and talk about what everybody is going to be working on. Spoiler alert, I'll be doing Judge Dredd because it's my show, son. Let's start with you, James. What are you going to do?
I'm doing Judge Anderson. So, yeah, Judge Anderson is just super cool. And well, firstly, it's a female sculpt as well, and I know you guys are kind of it's been a bit of a sausage fest, right? So well, I thought I'd inject a bit of femininity into the process, and it's something that I wanted to do for a while. I'm trying to get better at my female sculpts. So Judge Anderson she's nearly as old as Judge Dredd. Actually, she's been in the sort of 2000 AD universe for a while. I will be doing a sculpt based on her first strip which was called Anderson Side Division. Actually, she had appeared on it in her own strips before that, but only just as Judge Anderson. But this was the first time. I think it was in the mid-80s, and she had her own strip called Anderson, Side Division, and so it will be. And this is the first. I'm not sure if it's not the first time she encounters the Dark Judges, but she doesn't. It's quite a kind of iconic strip where she sort of fights the Judge Death and all of the other guys.
Is she the one that Sandra Bullock played in the movie?
Yes. Okay. Oh. That might have been Hirsch. She might have been Judge Hershey.
Oh, she's Hirsch. Yeah, you're right.
But I think what they did is they merged the two characters into one for that particular film. That you're talking about, the Stallone film, aren't you? There.
Yes.
So with Dredd, if you watch the film Dredd, I think it's 2012, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the girl that's with him there is Judge Anderson. Nice. So she's got psionic abilities. So she's been brought up near the border of the city, which is more irradiated than the center, and so she's developed this mutant psionic ability.
Nice.
Which it kind of works really well with the Dark Judges, because they're kind of got psychic. They're kind of sort of semi-psychic as well. They're kind of from like an alternate universe, and they kind of course they have because they're based on fear, death, and all of that. Like they're based on very psychological concepts. So, like Anderson fights them as well as Dredd has been involved with them quite a lot. So, but she's just a super cool character, very sassy, very. I'm going to be basing her on Dylan Teague's artwork. I think I like Dylan Teague's work a lot, which is on if I go onto my Pure F, 1 sec, which is this. I really like this cover here.
Nice.
And I like the proportions. I kind of want to get that kind of comic book style in there, so not too realistic. And so we'll be doing the proportions from scratch. I won't even be using the mannequin. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to see me bashing my head against the table. Well, you probably won't, because my camera doesn't go down that far, but if you hear any sounds,
you are of a level that Bradley and I will be doing whatever we can to keep up with you. So you start from a sphere.
We'll see.
You can start from a triangle and not even sphere, and then you can make Judge Cassie. What's her name?
I mean, sorry, Judge Anderson.
Anderson, yeah.
I like this. This is a cover from the year 2, Anderson Side Division year 2. I like this really much. So I think I'm going to be looking at maybe doing this sort of pose for the statue. But what you'll see is I will be doing sketches of different poses and figuring out which ones. So I'm going to try and involve you guys in the process as much as possible. The statue will also have all of the 4 judges in Dark Judges in as well. Just a little teaser there for you.
Wait a minute, you're gonna do the rest of the judges too?
Yes, but not full bodies, and you'll have to wait and see what that means. And it might be we might be able to get a bit of cross pollination in there with you guys. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes.
Okay, is that Bill Sienkiewicz that did that piece that you're referencing there?
It looks like it, doesn't it? I'm not sure. It does look like a Bill piece, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I'll find out actually, because it's got that kind of feel to it.
Yep. Bradley, who are you working on?
I am working on Judge Fear, and I am doing that because it's Halloween and it's not that deep.
Yeah, James. Little known fact about Bradley: he's scared of a lot of things. So this is him working through some personal issues.
Hey, James, real men acknowledge their fears, and we don't need to face them because we're real men. All right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't make me do anything. All right.
That's right.
No. I don't need to face my fears.
As long as Bradley has a wife and children, those spiders are going to be out of his way.
All day. I sent my son to
zoom in on Judge Fear a little bit so we can see who it is. Okay.
Yeah, Fear's wicked. You're going to have a lot of fun with this.
Nice. Yeah. I like death too. That's a good call.
Yeah, they're just very iconic characters. The Dark Judges. They've got this great. They've got such good silhouettes, haven't they? And they've got great design to them. They're just nice, juicy concepts to get a hold of.
I think I want to lean into those giant knee pads too. Like I love that look.
Yeah.
Just the big pillowy knee pads. I don't even know how you get around in those things, but I love them.
They'd be like strapping big pillows to your knees, basically, wouldn't it? It'd be like to see him kind of sort of walk around in them.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's good. I like. Actually, that's another thing that I think will be a lot of fun for us to kind of. I think there's a lot of leeway for us to play around with the different armor, because the armor in the comics is kind of basic. So there's a bit of room for interpretation there as well, which is kind of fun.
Exactly. All right. So I think with that being said, we can Bradley, you want to make your call?
Like what you're doing Judge Dredd.
Oh, I'm doing Judge Dredd.
Are you leaning into Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd?
I'm not. I like this. James, help me out. This artist right here. His name is this the guy that did the heavy metal stuff? What's his name?
Oh dear, I can't remember his name. Is it Kev Walker? There's so many.
Okay,
Carlos Esquerra. Is it Esquerra? I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I do apologize, but he was one of the guys that created Judge Dredd. But Simon Bisley, actually, it might be Simon Bisley. That's
what I kind of thought it might be. This particular piece, anyway. But I'm going to go. Like I said, I like this whole look with the giant knee pads and
classic
and all that. So I'm going to go that way as opposed to going the Stallone kind of.
Good choice.
It's like good choice.
Like he's getting ready to head out for a very interesting evening on the town. That's all I'm saying. All right. So Bradley usually calls pencils up and we get started, James. So
and I'm getting ready to call pencils up. Let's get started. So if you're new to the stream, please like, subscribe, and share. We have a goal to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. We're pretty close. Another cool thing, very, very soon, we have finished some of our prototypes for our merch. So ideally, we get to launch the Stylus League merch by the end of the month. But please like, subscribe, follow us. You might learn something. Ask as many questions as you want. My goal today is that if you see that I'm sculpting too much, it's because you're not asking enough questions. So please ask your questions. All right, and maybe next weekend we'll have Raul and I'll be able to do some sculpting myself.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wake him up early.
Wake up.
So all month, because James is 5 hours ahead of us, all month we are going to be coming in at this same time on a Saturday. So set your calendars and tell your friends, everyone.
Hey friends, set your calendars. So normally, James, normally what we normally do is that we go in and we shout out everyone who has joined and said hello throughout the intro section.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of people. So first come first serve. So I'm gonna do the first five. All right, first five.
I don't know, man. I think you should make your way down the list. But James and I will just be over here working. You go ahead and
we'll be working away. Don't you worry.
Go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Oh, I don't work. That's what you're saying?
No, well, you listen. James and I are going to be over. We'll do our thing. You
know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I do this too. All right. I don't play dribble. All right. I real dribble. Hey, Ram, welcome to this. Is so awesome, Ram. However you make your rhymes. Ram
is doing it. He's
was that the dude that had the rhymes at the start? I thought
they were
at the start.
And as Ram knows, I'm always being judged. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, Jamie.
What's up, the Brad?
Nice.
Hey, Frederick.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, NJ.
I like that icon.
What's up, Kev? Welcome to the stream. We got quite a few new people watching today. Please,
I love it.
Like, subscribe, help us continue to make this content free for you. That'll be awesome.
And Bradley wasn't kidding. We have some really cool merch that's coming out, guys, soon. So
I want some of that. I like
nice.
merch.
Well, as a
help
guest,
us have YouTube pay for this. All right, let the man pay for this service we're providing. All right.
There you go.
Hello. Since I'm having trouble working today, I figured I'll stop by and work alongside you guys. Yes, please.
Oh,
please,
wicked!
please.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Please, yes.
Yeah, if any of you guys
about?
out there, because we have a Discord, if anybody out there wants to work on a judge, maybe somebody we're not working on, then please.
There's loads of things. Yeah, that's what's so cool about the sort of 2000 AD universe. Is so so unused, so untapped. There's so much sort of potential.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd go with Judge Anson because she's still a judge, so it keeps it relevant to what you guys are doing a little bit more. But I was very tempted to do something like the ABC Warriors or Rogue Trooper or something like that, and they're all so good. Yeah. And ABC Warriors would be great because they're hard surface. So I'd love to try and do sort of more hard surface stuff. I'm doing hard surface stuff at the moment, which I can't talk about, but all I can say is I'm doing hard surface stuff at the moment. So it'd be nice to. So a lot of the time, I'll try and mirror that in my own sort of work as well. So I'm well practiced, as it were.
And your hard surface stuff is very, very nice. So I would.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Do you know what? I mean, we were talking before the stream about Marco Pluff. Like I owe a lot to Marco with his techniques, but he's just such a. I actually did when I was at the ZBrush Summit. I think it was the last time I was there, which is 2019. I think just before COVID actually. And I did a little workshop with Marco there, and he was just so good. But he's just so free with his knowledge, It was just really nice to to be able to kind of just tap his brain a little bit. And of course he does. If anyone's not aware, he has got his own sort of Twitch now, which is really, really good. I highly, highly recommend it. Even if you're not interested in hard surface, I think he did a. He's doing like a fantasy character. He's just finished a fantasy character as well, so he's quite eclectic in his tastes. So
I've been keeping up with his pieces he's been releasing, and just so what exactly? Of course, as soon as I said it, I forgot the name of his company. It's
EOS Masons.
Yeah. So who? Yeah. It's him and another person, right?
Cedric Suar. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, Cedric. I'm sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. He's gonna hate me. Terrible.
No, it's all good. And so the sheer volume of work that they put out is insane.
They pretty much, I would say, are the template for, like Cedric was doing stuff before I even, I had books with Cedric in. Like he was one of the first kind of ZBrush guys I saw, and I was like, wow, this guy's so good,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The stuff they put out is crazy, and I want it all.
So good, yeah.
Oh, while you guys were chatting it up, just so you know, I posted everyone's name up that said hello because I couldn't go through all of them. But it's cool.
That's good.
But we do have a really good question from a longtime supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's the IR Sculpts. All right. And this is the most important question we'll get all day. All right. Why is SL so awesome?
I think the correct answer to that is you better ask somebody, right?
He's like ask around.
If you don't know now, you know, baby.
But I one of the things I like about the Stylus League is that we get to hang out and kind of make everyone people that we follow that show that they're normal people, that they're just like us, that they go through the same things that we go through, and we still try to come together and make some cool stuff. So welcome to the league.
That's what it's all about. I mean, I was saying to you guys this week that one of the best things about going to the summits for me was actually being in the room doing the sculpt offs and being in the room with all those awesome people and just sculpting away for 3 hours. And yeah, there's nothing quite like it. It's very, very cool. It's a really cool feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great community that we have going on here. Hey, James, have you joined our Discord yet?
I haven't. No, I'm not a Discord user particularly. But I probably need to get on it, like a lot of things.
Yeah. So I'm not a big Discord guy. I'm just getting really used to Discord. But man, we have a lot of people in there. And
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that folks would love to be able to like throw something up and show it to you or ask you a question about something.
Yeah. Always happy to answer questions.
So sometimes we're getting a lot of. I'm so sorry to cut you off, James. Go ahead.
No, don't worry. That's okay. Go ahead, mate.
We're getting quite a few people, that are really happy, Mike, that we're streaming at this time.
Really?
Based off of the engagement we get for October, we can use that to make some future changes or discussions of what we do and how we stream. So ask your questions, be engaged, and we'll see how it goes. You never
Absolutely.
know. You never
Hey,
know.
listen, numbers rule everything. So if these streams get better numbers than our Friday nights, we might have to rethink some things.
But thank you for watching us. We appreciate it.
Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up is
Hi, Mari Cat.
Hey, Mari Cat. James and I have a similar background. So we both were illustrators before sculptors, and I would love to hear your story, James, of how did you make that transition and how did you start and all that good stuff. We talked about it, but I'd love for people to hear it.
Yeah, so I mean, I found myself in a position when I was in my mid-20s where I just wasn't happy. I think a lot of people find that, like I'd made the wrong decisions in my career, and I found myself working for a company I wasn't happy in, and I needed to do something about it, but I didn't know what to do. So, but I just knew that basically at school, I was always good at art, but it wasn't something I picked up. I actually picked up computers instead. So I actually went back and thought, well, what do I really love? And one of those things was art. And luckily, the company I was with was actually pretty cool about that. They kind of encouraged me, and eventually I went back to art school. When I was 26 when I went to art school. So yeah, so from there I did illustration. I studied illustration like yourself, Mike, and I mean, in the UK, it's very different. I don't know. I've never been. Of course, I've never been to art school in the States, but you're not taught how to draw specifically at art school in the UK. So it's a different experience. So, I mean, I did that, and I had a load of people from the Royal College of Art teach me, and their idea is very loose and very almost infantile kind of style of drawing. So very, very far from the comic book stuff, that you see these days. And the idea was to get work at places like the Times, and so very much editorial based sort of stuff.
Right.
Because I was a bit older, I just did what I learned that, like maybe I should just do what I'm told here and learn from them as much as I can instead of fight it, because a lot of people fought it because it wasn't their interest. So I did that. I graduated with a first class degree, so I did really well. And then I kind of got lost a little bit again, because when what happens is you kind of just get ejected from the system without any help, like they just kick you out. It's
we know how that goes. Be rejected by the system. We get it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very much like that, and so you kind of left to your own devices, and you've really got to be very self-reliant creatively is probably the best way to put it, and that's not something that comes easily, and it's something that takes a lot of time. Some people develop it quite early, but I didn't. So it was something I had to do with myself, and so I did some graphic design work, and I ended up doing stuff with my dad, because my dad was in the coffee industry. And so I ended up doing like coffee labels and stuff.
Nice.
Which is great. Actually, it's a lot of fun. I was saying to Mike last week that, pardon me, that if you go into, if you go to a pound store, or like a dollar store over there, but a pound store here, you'll see some, really cheap coffee with my labels on it over here in the UK. So
Still to this day?
To this day. They're still using my stuff, apparently. So.
That's awesome.
It's kind of cool. So yeah, I did that, but then I picked up ZBrush. I think that was in 2013. I picked up ZBrush, and I kind of was like into games and stuff, and I was playing Dishonored at the time, and like I really like the art direction. It's an awesome game. I really like the art direction on it, and yeah, I just kind of did what I would recommend anyone do when they start out. Just focus on stuff you love and you want to do, And so I did that. I did a load of portraits from that game, and then because I'm an illustrator, I had my own ideas as well, so I did a load of that as well. And it kind of developed from there, really. And I built up sort of a social media presence, and eventually got asked to do the ZBrush Summit for Jaime LaBelle, and the guys at Pixelogic have been very, very helpful to me down the years. And I got asked to do a bit of stuff with them. The big break for me, I guess, was doing the ZBrush Summit in 2017. I met like loads of people that I still call my friends to this day, and that opened a lot of doors to me as well. Because unfortunately, a lot of the time it's not what you know, it's who you know as well. There's a big element of that, and I think it's the same in most industries, isn't it? But especially in the sculpting industry, if people know you by face, it's it's a lot easier for them to remember you, and remember what you do. So yeah, going out, flying out to LA, because I hadn't ever flown on my own anywhere before. Right. Let alone go to the States. I've never been to the States, never been to Los Angeles before. So I went on my own, and to that. And then I met all these people. Funny enough, one of the first people I met was over there was Martin Augusta, my art director at XM.
Nice.
So, and it was weird because I turned up West Hollywood, and like I'm in this like really weird hotel, the Ramada in West Hollywood. And it was nice, it was perfectly nice, but it was a bit of a culture shock for me. That part of LA was a bit of a culture shock for me. I arrived a day early, or 2 days early than I did, because I'm one of those sort of people that likes to sort of arrive early just in case, sort of thing. And I'm sitting in my hotel room on the day that I've got sort of free, not knowing what to do. Right. And all of a sudden, because I'd spoken to him on Facebook and Martin knew I was there, I got this random text from Martin with a guy called Harry Sintifi, who's another sculptor for XM, and he said, "Oh, we're at Starbucks on the corner. Do you want to come and meet us?" And it turned out that I'd booked the hotel that was next to where everyone else was staying, that was invited by Pixelogic. So all the speakers and all of that were actually at the hotel that just literally like 2-minute walk up the road. Oh, nice. So they were doing presentations there that year, and they just, Martin out of the blue just texted me and said, "Look, we're at Starbucks. Do you want to hang out?" I mean, he's a sly bugger, Martin. At the end of the day, he only really wanted me to help them set up they were planning to set up their statues. So I was like, and ended up doing like lifting all their statues and stuff. But it was cool. I spent the day with them. We spent like 3 hours trying to get a SIM card from AT&T, which I don't know how you Americans do that. It's like crazy. Like we just go into a store and buy one. I don't know what that is all about. But we spent you can't
do that here.
We tried to buy one, and the guy and they kind of like they spent about 2 hours talking at us, not with us. You know, like how we should.
Yeah,
buy
sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Yeah, no, it was kind of weird. Perhaps they saw us coming, but that was quite character building. Like that was quite good. We kind of built a friendship off that experience, you know. And yeah, so we really hit it off. And to be fair, my skill level at that point was not up to the standard that XM would have needed. So, but I kept in touch with Martin, and of course I was doing miniatures and all other things there. So basically, in the meantime, my career progressed, and I was doing lots of miniatures for war games, and then I progressed to kind of the fancy miniatures. And yeah, I basically just built my skill set up, and then I got approached by Martin to do the Batcave in 2018, so about a year later.
Wow.
Funny enough, at the same time I started working for Sideshow, because I'd met Sideshow guys as well in 2018.
Nice.
At Monsterpalooza, and the Sideshow guys were awesome. David Igo's the man, and I'd met when David Igo was there, I'd met him and at Monsterpalooza, and I kept in touch. And yeah, I did a Bill Burrows sort of piece, I think. And yeah, it was just cool. And then so I got this thing for XM, like the Batcave, and that was a long project. Like I was still sculpting that last year, so that's like been a 3-4 year long project with them.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I saw the detail in that Batcave. I can see how it could take that long. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? It's yeah.
I'm so sorry. If you ever see me cut in, it's because I'm trying to drop a question in. Forgive me.
No worries.
So we do have one in for you, James. As far as I know, you are full time with XM. How was working with Figurama, and how did XM take it? Can you talk about that process?
So there's one thing that I will try and avoid this month, and that is getting too much into the nitty gritty of the business side of things, because I have to be very careful. I have to be very professional, because I'm still working in the industry, and XM are my main employer. So I will try and choose my words carefully, but I will try and answer those sort of questions to the best of my ability. I work with Figurama. I like.
Question for the group: What is Figurama? Is that like a
Figurama is a collectibles company that focus on. They do a lot of anime statues.
Okay, cool.
And they're based in Tokyo, actually. I think they're now full time. You know, they've got their own studio in Tokyo and all of that, so which is pretty cool. So I did some work with them a few years back. And I like Mr. Shinab. Mr. Shinab is the owner there, and I had, I went out to Tokyo, flew out to Tokyo to do a launch with them, to launch the statue, which was great because we did it at the Winter Wonderfest in Tokyo, which is so awesome. Like, if anyone's not been, I highly recommend. Well, Mike, you need to go, and Bradley, you need to go, mate. It's just awesome there.
Nice.
And yeah, so I did that. It was good fun. I had a good time. The team they've got there is great. I moved on creatively. I moved on. I had this is where I got engaged with XM full time. I started to get a lot more sculptures from XM, so I kind of made the transition to XM over Figurama. It's just the choice that I had at the time. Which you will get those in your career. You'll have the choice. If you're good, then you're going to get, people are going to want to work with you. So you'll have the luxury of choosing who to work with. That's the nice thing. But so yeah, I had a good time with Figurama. Really fun thing though. Like they're very big on their sort of promotional stuff. I know Daniel Camarudin, their concept and art director, quite well. He's a good friend of mine. It was really funny. We had a good laugh when we were out in Tokyo, but they do this thing where they're really overly corporate in their promotional thing, which most people are these days. But I'm a little bit too. Well, firstly, I'm pretty shy actually, so I don't really like having my photo taken.
Shy? No, you're not shy.
Yeah, man, I don't like it, which is why I don't really stream a lot and all of that. It takes a lot of effort, you know. So and so it was funny because they were doing these promotional videos. They had these two really sort of super professional dudes come in and photograph the statue, and then they wanted to do these promotional shots where there were videos, and then they wanted us to look down and then look up. Like really dramatically. And so they did that with the art director. They did that with the with Daniel, and they wanted to do it with me. But I did that thing where they were like right, you know, you stand in the middle of the stand, this big sort of stand they've got in this convention hall, and then look down and then look up. And so I did that thing where I sort of did look down, and when I look up, and then as I looked up, I went kind of like really sort of wicked sort of witch of the west sort of face. And I did it about 5 times, and they still 5 takes, and they still weren't happy. So yeah, like I'm not like a massive like rock star sculptor or anything. That sort of stuff. It's not great. I'm not very good at it, I'm afraid, which they learned to their.
You didn't come in and kill it on the first take, pull like a Ralph Grassetti, like rock star.
No. I'm awful. I'm terrible like that. And like I'm always the one with red eye on the, like, you know, like when everyone photos are taken in all my family albums, I've got like red eye, or I'm in the back in the corner cut off by the photo. So
Thanks. We'll airbrush it out later. It's okay.
Oh, and I know we were talking a little bit, like, shout out to our friends at Pixelogic. I know Ian has been working really hard for the ZBrush Summit.
Absolutely.
So please get ready to check that out. I know that they if you guys have seen Ian, I know he's been really, really busy and getting ready for that. I believe is it this month? Is the summit this month? I think it is.
Is it November or something? Is it? I don't remember.
It's sometime in the fall. And we're in fall, so I know he's been really working hard to put that together.
Yeah, it's well, having been there for the physical ones, you really do appreciate like how much work those guys put in. You know, they put in a ton of work on those summits. So yeah, it's a big shout out to them. They're awesome, and they've always looked after me as well. So I always have a lot of time.
November 13th through the 16th. Thank you, Howie. Thank you, MJ. There we go. IR said with more announcements coming. So, James, is this your typical process when you're like blocking out something, going the?
Yeah, I'm being a bit experimental today. I'm trying to. So if anyone's wondering, I think I actually glanced a quick question where is James going to work like he would for XM? Well, the answer to that is no, and the reason is because it would be really boring. Basically, with XM, like we start with the T-pose and probably start with a base mesh and all of that. I mean, it's just basically the quicker we can start, the better. So like we want to use a base mesh and all of that sort of stuff. Whereas with this, well, with this stuff I'm doing with you guys, I really wanted to start from scratch. So because it's really gonna, I don't want to be dictated to by a base mesh, because I want to add a bit of cartooniness to, not cartooniness, but a little bit, an element of not, sub-realism, I guess, is the, like I don't want it to be too realistic. So I want to, at this stage, I'm really looking at exploring sort of proportions and stuff. I find when you've got a base mesh or you've got a mannequin, you're subconsciously dictated to with that. Whereas because this process is imperfect, it really makes me examine the subject and what I'm doing a bit more. And of course, like in my head, I'm thinking this doesn't look right, proportions look weird, and I'm constantly assessing and doing. So, and I wanted to show this process because, like, as you'll see over the month, I'm not a golden goose. I don't lay golden eggs. And I think that's a big misconception, especially with statues, because they are big, impressive pieces, but sometimes it's difficult to believe they come from very humble beginnings. And that is the truth. They are very, it takes me, for a average superhero piece, it will take me 3 months back and forth with an art director when I was working freelance for XM. A good sculptor, and if they hit their swing right, it'll be 2 months. It's very rare that happens. We would, speaking from XM's behalf, like we would like 2 months to happen more often. But of course, you've got to factor in license changes, approval, all of this sort of stuff. Me being picky as well as an art director and having people redo things is not good. But yeah, so it takes a long time to develop. But like for the more complex things, like for example, the samurai Batman pieces, which I would say are our kind of show pieces for XM, what we can do in house, or what we can develop in house at least. Those can take 5 to 6 months to sculpt. Because we're doing a lot of designing on the fly as well, so there's a lot of stuff we go back to, and yeah.
Okay, let's see. Put that question to James. So this is from Ram. James, where do you focus most on your sculpts? The planning, or do you freestyle to find your inspiration?
I do. Oh, it's a good question. Freestyle. It's kind of like I develop the ideas in my head. Funny enough, again, I was talking to Mike about this at the start. I just started picking up my sketchbook and sketching ideas out, but a lot of the time, I always start with an idea. I hope that answers the question. So I always start, like for this, I've got a very, very clear idea of what the statue is going to look like in my head. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it'll end up like. So there's a little bit of flexibility there as well. But I know what to aim for. I know how to push it to get to push it in the right direction. But I don't tend to have a sketch I work from. As you can see, I'm just looking at these for inspiration on the side of my screen there, just to keep me focused. But yeah, for ideas, like I'm a big history buff. I like history, so that factors in a lot. And a lot of the time, I'll be reading something, and I'll get influenced by it, and I'll think, oh, what can I do? What can I sculpt for that? So, I mean, I'm an amateur historian. I like, especially focused on the First World War and that era. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of, a lot of that sort of stuff. But I also like the occult as well. So I like witches and all that sort of stuff as well. I'm really into that, and Halloween. So it's a great time of the year at the moment, Halloween.
I know. I have a question for you, James, and this is
yeah.
This is really important.
Yeah.
How you feel about Hocus Pocus 2?
No, we're not doing that.
But Hocus Pocus 2 is out.
Is that a political question? Because I've seen on the news that it's super controversial, but I don't know why. Why is it? Because it's got witchcraft in it?
No.
It's because it's corny and Bradley likes movie.
It's
He's
not
a grown
corny,
man. That's
right?
what's controversial, James.
Corny.
You know what?
It's a great movie.
I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I am actually an official member of Hufflepuff House.
Thank you, James. Thank you, James.
So just to make you feel better, Bradley. So actually, my brother's girlfriend, like I keep, because she's a fan as well, but no one else in my family is, apart from another family, other family members. Mm-hmm. So the three of us are going to get together and go up to Harry Potter World, which is up quite close to me actually, and geek out. So you can get a bus from London to this Harry Potter World, and it's like a big double-decker bus with a like Harry Potter branded sort of bus. Mm-hmm. And so you can I get the train up to like platform 9 3/4, which is actually a thing in London, and you do a little tour, and then you get on this bus and it takes you to the studios, and you do a tour of the studios. And yeah, I'm just gonna geek out, and my rest of my family think we're totally mad, but I love it. I can't get enough of it. So there you go.
So all I heard was that, James, you agree that Hocus Pocus is one of the greatest Halloween movies ever?
No.
And we'll move on to our next question. We're moving on to our next question. Mike, I need you to eat that one right now. I need you to. You're the only one that's out there hating on Hocus Pocus.
What I will say is we've got a whole month. There'll be plenty of opportunities for Bradley to eat it. We'll find something.
So I will throw this out there because I have a vested interest in it. Even though they didn't go with my artwork, I did the movie poster for Adam Sandler's movie. What's a Halloween movie called? Hubie Halloween on Netflix. It's on Netflix now. Yeah. So I would say that is the quintessential Halloween movie that everyone must watch every year.
If they rejected you, Mike, they're not.
They did not pay me for that one, but
there it is. There it is.
Listen, still paying it.
We got a question in from IR. IR said, James, if memory serves me right, you showed on the ZBrush Summit that you work with Dynamesh with groups turned on for posing. Do you still use that workflow, or have you evolved since?
Evolve, that's a difficult question again. It's still part of my toolbox. Is the right answer to that? I think. Like it's one of the most common questions I get. How do you start? How do you start? And like you're going to get like it's going to change every time you do it. Like I know with XM it has to, this is why we do a T-pose with XM, because we need to, if you're working in a team of people, like you need to be able to communicate properly and show your work and all of this sort of stuff. So T-pose is very, like it's very standardized, and it means like we can get it in front of our creative director and he can agree to it going forward, and we can also, if we need to, get it off to the license, and the licensor can look at it before we pose it up and all of that sort of stuff. When you're doing your own statues, the world is your oyster, really. Like you can do whatever you want, and that's the kind of, I don't like to kind of pigeonhole myself with workflows. It's one of the big criticisms I've got of 3D, of digital working through 3D process. It's very workflow, or like what's your workflow? What's your workflow? Like that means everything. Well, it doesn't. The core skills are what matters, and like there's so many ways. Once you've got the core skills down, then you'll realize there's so many ways to execute those core skills. And in the end, it doesn't really matter how you do it. It's the end result that matters. And so, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I hope if by doing it in this way, I hope I'm breaking it down and showing my work, and hopefully it helps people. But there's no like set way of doing things. And my advice to you is, in your own work, challenge it all the time. Different ways of working, not in your professional work, because you need to make sure you're consistent, but in your personal work, push it. That's what it's there for.
You gotta eat.
Yeah.
Gotta eat. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let me go to the next one, James. We have another one. James, what kind of fancy minis do you sculpt for which companies?
So I work for, nowadays, one of the nice things about working with XM is that I'm allowed to work with miniature companies as well. So I'm still working for Mindworks Studios, and those are the people I did the Wizard of Oz sculpt for. Gabriel Delotto is the guy that designed that statue, or the statue's based on his artwork at least. And also they have the Frank Rosetta license. And the Brom license as well. I love Brom. Brom is a wicked dude as well. I really respect him as an artist. And I've been fortunate enough to sculpt a couple of pieces. I think a couple of Brom pieces. Yeah, a couple of Brom pieces I did. And the other people I'm working for are Black Sun Studios. So I've been working with them for a couple of years now, and hopefully we'll be fine. Hopefully we'll be able to show some of that work soon.
James,
because I've been working with them for a while. Yeah,
I have to apologize, dude. I did not know. So I did not know that this was your piece, man. Like, not even kidding. Okay, so this, and I promise I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to be.
Yeah, let's not hold you to such
This
standard,
is why
Mike.
we can't have Daniel Bell on the show, because it'll be a whole bunch of me just being real like fan.
I hate that, dude. Did you see the sideshow? Is it the desk review or what? The YouTube stuff they've been doing for New York. They had an interview with Daniel, and I love Daniel. He comes across as such a nice chap.
He's
but
awesome.
I hate him because he's got such a tidy room. Like, but I always notice that when people's like,
I hate his skill, but I also hate his cleanliness.
There is a whole host of reasons to hate on Daniel Bell. He's probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I think Joe Min is the only guy that's got him beat. But,
Joe's awesome. Yeah,
sweetheart dude, amazing sculptor, super fast, incredibly tidy and clean in his workspace. But okay, enough of all that. I didn't know you did this piece, man. This is one of my favorite sculptures of all time. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The thing is, it's Gabriel. It's always difficult because Gabrielle is the artist there. I mean, I just base my sculpt on Gabrielle's work. So you know, like I think that's really important to mention, because like although I had to come up with a 3D composition and there was a lot of work involved in that. You know, like Gabriel needs the credit for that as well. He's also a wonderful man. He's a lovely fella.
Super team. Like the execution on this, like Gabriel's work, his concept and your sculpt. The execution on this is bonkers. Like, I'm not even kidding. Brad Grotman and I got in a room and we dissected this piece for like an hour. I'm not even kidding. So,
that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I do really appreciate it.
No worries, man. Jeez.
So I'm gonna get to next one. We got quite a few questions. We'll get to them.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
right.
we'll try and answer them all.
Let's see. Our next one is. So, hey James, can someone apply for a statue company if all they got in their portfolio is game-related stuff?
Yes, but it helps if you have got a few statues under your belt, you know. Of course. So, if I would, it depends on what your game portfolio is like as well. I would like to see, or if I was going to consider you for XM, then I would like to see more dynamic pieces in your work outside of T-poses. So because just being able to sculpt a character is not enough for statues. You need to be able to understand composition in statues, in actual, you know, like the actual composition of something, and you know, like there's in that way it has a lot of more in common with illustration. Now Mike will tell you that as well. You know, like there's a lot of crossover, like because you're looking at storytelling and stuff like that. So if you've got a portfolio full of T-poses, I am less likely to pick you, is the answer. So I would experiment with making statues. It's quite easy to do. Pose up your game characters and sculpt on the top of them. I would do that if that's what you want to do. One thing I would say is that the statue industry is far, far smaller than the games industry. It's tiny. So, you know, even if you've got a great games portfolio, the chances of you getting work at someone like Sideshow are probably remote. You need to build up. So miniatures are a great place to start because they'll give you, you know, like a good grounding. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Even coming from games, you know, like I'm definitely looking for more dynamic ability, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I think it does.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
So there's it's a different person, but the question seems to be, let me double check. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's pretty much a follow-up or addition to like the industry. Would you recommend for someone who wants to work with XM, Sideshow, Forma to reach out to them and basically apply, or do we just have to wait for them to find us?
So I guess the answer to that is the statue companies are kind of like kids in a candy store at the moment. For them, it's a buyer's market. So there's so much talent out there. There's so many sculptors that, I would say, do anything you have to promote yourself. So if you email, look, at the end of the day, if you email me your work, I'm not going to be horrible about it. I in fact, if anything, it's nice to know people are out there. So I would say definitely feel free to email me. What we'll do is we'll probably put my email into at the end of the stream or whatever. You can always do that. I'll always try. I might be busy, but I'll always try and look at new work and new sculptors and stuff. But I just want people to be aware that it's just a very, very competitive market out there at the moment for sculptors in the statue industry. Like, you are more likely to get work in games, because games is still booming. The games industry is still booming. Well, you know more about that than I do, really, Bradley, don't you? I suppose.
Yes. But one thing I will say is, like, I think, like, a life thing, never wait for no one to find anything. Like, if you can put yourself out there, join groups, chat with people. I think one thing, the biggest thing is, like, show that you're a good human being.
Yeah.
like being a good human being and not being like a jerk about stuff is probably like the best day that that you can be in interacting. So, and that's what my added comment to that is.
Well, and isn't this the sort of life lessons, isn't it? Really, it's not just about being an artist; it's about being any sort of professional. And that's something that you need to keep in mind as well. I think that, like, much is made about, being a superstar sculptor and all of this sort of stuff. But the reality is, if you're, you're working in a team. So being a team player is almost as important as being a good sculptor for me. Because I need to know that you're going to be able to take instruction well. That sometimes things don't work out as well in what you're doing in a project. So the ability to take critique and criticism as well, all of this sort of stuff, these are pretty basic needs for, like a sculptor that is employable in the industry, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff there outside of just being an artist. So yeah, it's difficult.
Cool. Got another question. Hello, James. One question for you. Miniatures and collectibles, they are different styles. How have you solved the challenge that was easy? How have you solved that challenge that was easy? I guess.
How have I made it? How have I
you made it easy? I would assume.
I love that, because it assumes I have made it easy. It's a good question. Like, it's difficult, and with great difficulty. Actually, it's not been easy, and it's taken me years to get to my skill set up to that point. So yeah, it's just experience, just trying to, again, like I said just now, pushing yourself, like, I think you just got to push yourself to new things, try new ways of working. Like, I've never really worked like this before that I'm doing now. So you kind of just got to push yourself and try new things, and people will, I like that. I like to see people do that, and I will sit up and notice when people do that. So, and that's basically how I've been able to do it, I think. I think with art as well, everything's a work in progress. Like, no one comes out knowing what to do. Even the best of us, it's not. Nothing's ever, for me anyway. It's always a struggle. It's always a struggle.
The thing too, James, that just to piggyback off of what you're saying is that I think people see. They see your art station, or they see the things that you've done, or they'll hear the accolades or whatever, and but they don't know what goes into it, and the struggle, and the the failures, and getting back up and keeping going and all that stuff. So to everyone else, like they look at you as almost like an overnight success, right? Like, oh, I never heard of this guy, and now this guy's everywhere, right? So for somebody like me who's been at it for a number of years, people just now are starting to really, you know, see the stuff and like, oh man, you know, this guy's doing whatever. So I would say that to whoever is interested in either this line of work or whatever it is, and just take into consideration that the 10,000 hours have been spent, you know, like James did not.
Yeah. And I still have my bad days and all of that. And
keep doing your thing if you are new to this, or even if you try to get jobs. Like, hey, listen, I went after Sideshow for a long time, like a long time. And I finally got noticed by a friend of mine over there, and that kind of started the ball rolling. So if you can too, pro tip, get a stream on Pixelogic. You get a stream, do a ZBrush live, and people will notice. You'll have an audience.
Anything you can do to kind of expand your experience. You know, I think that's the big thing.
Exactly.
Just expand your experience.
Yeah. Get a very popular stream that people will see in the thousands. Please like, share, subscribe, Stylus League.
Nice.
That's one way of doing it. You know, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah. Millions of followers. Hey, can you guys tell me this? Do me a favor real quick, either one of you.
Yeah.
I did something to my Z modeler and screwed it up so that when I go to poly group and I hit target its poly loop, watch what it does now. It does this thing where it doesn't
flattens it. Oh,
it doesn't get all of the things, and I don't know which one of these group ID. Like I think I hit something down here and messed it up. What does it say on yours? See how it gets different colors for each of the poly groups here? Like it's not just giving me the loop as one color. That is.
I don't know, mate.
See that?
Yeah, it's like giving multiple poly colors to the loop.
Yeah, what is yours, Bradley? Open up your Z model if you wouldn't mind, and tell me what you have for your. What is your
So poly group, and then go to where you want me to look. Poly loop.
Poly loop, and then what's underneath of it?
Under poly loop, one group ID.
Okay, and then under that, what does it say for modifiers?
Modifiers, overwrite, and full coverage.
Okay.
And random coverage that 50.
Wait, that did it. Thank you so much.
All right, cool. So cool.
Amen.
So many options there, isn't there? Like to mess up.
So many options. You probably really liked the way something was and like stored it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, I want to make sure I get through everyone. Thank you for being patient. For those who are commenting, I'm going through. So from MJ, James, having been a U.S. Marine, thank you for your service, MJ. I have to say that your military sculpts are absolutely stunning and compelling. I love the composition, storytelling that is conveyed in them. Great stuff.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I mean, the history of it all I find it really fascinating. I mean, there's over here in the UK, there's a big tradition of military monuments. But what most people in the States probably don't realise is that when most of those statues that we had that commemorate the First World War were funded not by the government but by the local populace. And the reason for that is that when we realised that we needed more men in the First World War, we started to recruit people, just conscript. And what happened with conscription is that whole communities were conscripted together and they were not separated. So they were sent to the front as a community. So you've got whole groups of men from one village all in the same company fighting the Germans in the trenches, some of which, for example, in the Battle of the Somme, the first Battle of the Somme, 55,000 estimated men died in the first 3 hours of the Battle of the Somme. And so not only were there a lot of men, but whole communities were wiped out. Like a whole village of men were wiped out because they weren't split up. And so there's a big tradition of commemorating those people, that whole communities of these World War I monuments, you know. So it's a fascinating history. It's really sad as well. It's a sad history. Because if anyone's watched Peaky Blinders, those men came home and they were ignored, they were abused, they were marginalized. And so I won't get too political, but it's a very, very interesting period of history, and the military side of it is very fascinating to me. And you know, like I had relatives that fought in those wars, so you know, it's specifically poignant for me. So
nice.
Thank you for that. Let's see. IR says, pro tip, you can always reset brushes.
Yes. I've got it down here. Yeah, I always do that.
Brushes. And also he said that if anyone's interested in being a ZBrush live sculptor, you can always apply and make sure you have a good portfolio. See, there's another question here. So so this question, I'm gonna post it up, but I have a background in being a recruiter for corporate companies, and usually asking about pay is individualized by your skill and what the company has budgeted for talent. So that is my broad answer to this question, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. A business is a business, and skill goes along with compensation. So I'll post that question now. So Tentative Slug says, so okay, generally, how much money does a character artist for a statue and collectibles company make yearly?
Well, it will very much vary, because literally it's up to you how much you charge. So you know, it depends on what your experience is, what your living expenses are as well. You know, like I know some people that are able to work a bit more cheaply, but I mean, it's difficult. It's always a difficult one to answer because it fluctuates, and I don't. It's something after answering it, I've answered it quite a lot, and I've regretted answering it. So I won't answer that. It's something you'll have to find out in time. You know how much your ability is worth. Mm-hmm. People will constantly try and lowball you, but you need to stick to your guns. And yeah, just you'll feel it in your gut what's right and what isn't, you know, for the amount of work. Yeah, and that's the other thing about, you know, you'll get experience, and you'll know that's going to take me 3 months. So then you charge 3 months worth of money, you know. So I can't. Yeah, I don't want to sort of come out and say a figure, because it just causes.
There's a very good book that's out that I got when I started as a freelance illustrator, called Getting Paid What You're Worth. And more than just kind of telling you what rates were, that if you want something like that, I don't know if this works for 3D, but for illustration, like 2D stuff, there's a book called the Graphic Artist Guild Handbook that comes out kind of yearly, almost yearly. But it tells you, like, okay, I'm doing a billboard and it's worth this much if it's got, you know, if it's here or whatever. You know, I'm doing a book cover. I'm sure there's something like that for the industry, but this book was more important because what it does is it gets you in, you know, kind of the good practice of kind of figuring out what you think your work is worth to you, and being able to ask for that, right? And you know, I think ranges are really important as well. So, you know, I know when I went to Sideshow, my first job for them, I hit them with a range, and you know, they were very cool about going towards the top of my range, which was good for me. You know what I mean?
I think this is the thing. You've got to be just comfortable. Like it is a real artist problem, isn't it? Like money.
Yeah.
Like we suck at money. Like talking money. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I will speak for myself. I really suck at it.
Oh,
I
true.
always have done. So, yeah, it is difficult, and I understand where the question comes from because I've had that. Pardon me, that question many times myself.
The thing about it is that not to cut you off, man, but like you're right, as artists, this stuff is very personal to us, right? So it's like every time we do something, it's almost like a baby that we're like, well, you know, I love this thing, and then when somebody says, okay, well, I'll give you $5 for it, you're like, oh my God, you know, you're crushed every time. So,
Yeah.
But I know when I started, because I've been at this for like 30 years, but when I started, I was just like every other artist. I was like, well, what do you want to pay for it? And they'd be like, I'll give you $20. And I'm like, okay, all right, that sounds fair. You know what I mean? Knowing good and well that that's not fair.
Well, just to put it into perspective, I've been in positions where I've grossly overcharged or overquoted, I should say, because they weren't crazy enough to take me on. And I've grossly undercharged as well. Yeah. So, you know, like you're going to get that. You're going to have to make those mistakes as it's just part of the process. Yeah, it's making those mistakes and then learning from them. I'm afraid, you know, like there is a large element of that.
Absolutely. There's an artist that I'm not going to say his name, but there's a guy.
Come on! You can't leave us like that.
No. Yes, you can. I am the protect. I protect Mike, and I save Mike from himself. Don't say it. Don't say nobody.
All right.
No names.
His initials are KW. Anyway, this guy.
KW. Put it into ArtStation. Someone in the comments.
You're never going to find it. But this, it's not Kanye West. But so this guy he's a very good painter, right? He's an amazing painter, and it's funny because our styles are similar. Yeah. And so what would happen is he would be in talks with these companies. He would quote these like ridiculous quotes, and they'd be like, "Man, go kick rocks. We're not going to pay you that," you know. Yeah. So, but what would happen is they would say, well, who else has a style like him? And then they would come to me and I'd take the job. So I got a Coca-Cola commercial and an Infinity Motors spotlight because this guy like has these like ridiculous quotes. I was like, okay, I love this dude.
Well, the moral of the story is that there's always someone that will do the job cheaper than you.
That's right. That's right.
If they'll always find someone to do the job. The question is, what are you willing to give up to take the job?
I'm the cheap date. But listen, when I say cheap, it wasn't cheap. It's like this guy was on some whole other stuff. So we're not going to pay you $500,000 for this job, dude.
Let's see.
So I wonder how many legs have you sculpted in your time, Mike? I'm interested.
Gosh,
if you could put a figure on it.
Oh my
God. This is a great example, actually, of me. Like I must have sculpted hundreds. Yeah. Yeah, I still don't know what the bloody things look like.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
You know it's like, it's crazy.
There's bones.
I've heard that. I've heard there's bones in there somewhere. Women are hard, man. Like
they're super duper hard. Yeah,
I'm so used to doing like big diesel meatheads that when it comes to a beautiful female form, I'm just like, oh, I gotta revisit all of this.
Females are hard because they have way more fatty deposits than men. Yep. So you can't really go and have a look at your anatomy book and get a firm answer from it. Whereas with men, I find I can go straight to my anatomy book if I've got any questions or if something comes up, and I can normally find something in them that will help me resolve the problem. Women, they have especially around the waist. Yeah. I mean, if you were to sculpt a woman's waist with muscle, you'd literally be like cutting that bit off because there's no muscle there. most of this is like a fatty deposit, So
Well, you
that's
have.
one.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, one tip with sculpting women is that you do not sculpt the what do they call it? The band. What do they call it? The band that they get. What do they call it with men? Adonis's band, or is it? What's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. But there's this little.
You're giving me a pro tip. I want you to get it.
Yeah.
Well, the iliac crest that comes round here.
Yeah.
It's much lower on a woman, but you tend not to sculpt it in that much because it kind of all blends in. Whereas with a man, it's very clear. Especially if it's a muscular man, there's a very clear kind of delineation there between.
Are you familiar with Ashley Wood?
Yes, I love Ashley Wood. I'm an illustrator, so yeah.
Yep. I always look to Ashley. So like he does these impossibly long legs on his women.
Yeah,
like super long legs, short torso, and it always makes them look so good, man. So I tend to go longer on the lower half always.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I mean, if you look at Dylan's work here, you can see that he's really pushing these shapes, so in and out. Mm-hmm. Really impressive stuff, especially to draw at the perspective that he's got there. It's really good. So, I mean, I'm only trying to get this up to a rough point, so that I'm just happy with. I think it's just for this particular project, I wanted to explore the proportions a little bit. So, normally, like I would sort of have my own blocking that I've worked on, I can just pull apart. But I thought for this one, it would be kind of fun to do it from scratch.
Absolutely. And if I had any kind of confidence, I'd do the same thing. I'm not doing that with you.
Well, let's wait until the end, mate, because then you might be thanking yourself. Yeah.
Whatever. We got another question here. James, sometimes I have trouble figuring out the amount of detail or the depth of some details need to show in print. Is there a general tip you can give, except experience?
Yeah, well, I was going to say experience, but sorry, I don't want to fob you off there, really, with the answer. Well, there is actually a Pixelogic will tell you that there is a brush, and I can never find it. This is a contrast brush. Because there's so many brushes that begin with C, and I always lose it. And I'm like, what's it? Contrast. But there is a contrast brush that you can use, and you can brush it over your sculpt, and it will pull out the detail more.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if I can find it. I can never find it. It might be a begin with D. I can't remember.
Oh, you know what? I think it was Brad Grotman that was using that the other day and showing it to me.
What is it? I can't remember. I always lose it in the because I don't use it that much.
Let's see. MG says contrast slider and deformation works too.
Yeah, there is a. If I can find it, it's really annoying.
You know what's a nice little cheat is setting up.
You can hit C,
contrast delta here.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, it's called contrast delta. So if you've got high frequency detail and you're worried that right, I'll show you something really quick. So if you've got if you've got sort of detail on a sculpt, high res detail on a sculpt, and what I would do, and you're not sure that's going to print properly, I'm just going to probably smooth it out a little bit. So you go to your contrast delta brush. I've lost it again. And then use layers, create a new layer, and then just really brush it over with the contrast delta, and then use your layers to adjust it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you've got fine control over those details. I guess that's not answering the question though, because I think the question was really about how do you know how much is enough detail? Well, unfortunately, that really is experience. I'm afraid you've kind of got to develop your eye for it.
I was talking to somebody who does stuff with Prime One, and he was saying that their rule of thumb is to go 1.5 times the normal kind of how deep you would dig in or much you would build up. So he always, with his details, he always kind of like digs in, like almost 2 times as deep. But that what you just showed was great. And then there's also you can set up a new layer the way that James did, and go over to your person if you already have details there and you wish that they were deeper, and just smooth them out, smooth them flat, and then stop that layer, and then pull it in reverse, and you can get that detail to come back thicker, and you can actually duplicate that to get, like, say you do a pour pass and it's not deep enough. That's a way to get those to show up even more.
So at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm actually throwing myself in the deep end here and figuring out where the mistakes are, because, and this is another thing that's really important, I think, is like you're always going to make mistakes. Your eye is not going to be perfect all the time, but where it really is going to count is where you'll notice those mistakes and you do something about them. And again, there's a lot of experience in that as well, you know. You kind of get something down on paper, and then you'll realize that needs to change, that, and then you can kind of assess it.
Yeah. So I have probably the most important question of the day.
Yeah.
You know how at Sideshow, when you do a sculpt, they send you the sculpt when it comes out. Did you send one?
No, I haven't got one.
Does XM hook a brother up when he's done with?
Okay, so this is a really interesting point. So Sideshow don't do it because it's actually illegal to pay people in products in the States.
No. In addition to the pay.
In addition to pay.
Yeah.
No, that was what I was always told. So I would not. I've never had a copy. Although, I've got a piece I've done with them recently that I really, really want. So we'll see. Perhaps we'll talk again about that when it's released. But for XM, they actually make it part of your contract. So if you ask for it, but you will have to pay for the delivery, which at the moment is considerate.
do you get a discount or anything?
Oh, you'll get the statue for free, but you'll have to pay for the delivery.
Oh, okay, well, that's fair.
But with XM,
that's fair.
You
got to do that with
the contract. That's the contract that you get. So
that's fair. The delivery is what gets you. I mean,
delivery can really suck. Yeah, these days it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Nah, because I was looking at. I mean, dude. So when I say that cycle was my favorite piece, like I was working out all the angles as to how to make that happen. And ultimately, like between the statue and the delivery together, I was like, maybe not right now.
Got another question in, but I'm going to first make a request that if you're new to the channel, or if you've watched the channel and you have not liked and subscribed for the Stylus League, please like, subscribe, share, please. Thank you. We have a goal that we're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. We would love for YouTube, which we like to call the man, to help pay for this content. So we have
Bradley calls the man. I don't call YouTube.
I call YouTube the man. YouTube the man. They like to show a lot of great commercials on top of our channel, and we would like to support our channel with those commercials and get some ad revenue. So please, right now they are showing commercials and we get nada. And we have a lot of watch hours. So thank you everyone who has watched our content. We have like overshot our watch hours. However, our watch hours are not showing in our subs. So please, if you're watching this, like, subscribe, sub, and let's get the man to pay for some of this.
Right.
Definitely.
I'm not calling
But
you too, there's a Bradley thing. He didn't clear that with me first.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. We have our own individual demand, you know.
Bradley was royal we, not him and I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and I. He's part of Stylus League. So we have a question from MJ. And his question is, being that you've moved through the industry rather quickly over the last 10 years, have you had instances of imposter syndrome, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, very badly. Okay. Well,
Folk smash.
Well, because I'm a little bit shy, so my way of combating that is like I'm doing here, throwing myself in the deep end. And of course, I would say actually just to encourage people that maybe are the same as me, do it, because about 8 times out of 10 it works, but there's always the 2 out of 10 that don't work. And I've been approached a few people, especially at the summit, that I've really admired, and I've made a complete and utter fool of myself.
Really? Tell me about that. That's an interesting story.
Well, just because I've run out of things I've actually plucked up the courage to walk across to them, but then I've not thought about what I'm actually going to say. So I've ended up talking about the weather or something. And I'm like, this is something English people do a lot, because our weather is like, we're an island. It changes all the bloody time. But in Los Angeles, where it's literally 29, 30 degrees, like all the time, like it's not particularly an interesting conversation.
Do you watch Saturday Night Live, or have you?
No, it's not a big. It's funny enough. It's not big over here particularly.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's big or not. I know it's not big for me. It's not something I've ever watched. Although I know it's a thing, of course.
Chris Farley is, rest in peace, Chris Farley. He was one of my favorite comedians, right? But he had this character he did on Saturday Night Live, where he would interview people, but very badly.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, You remember that time you did the thing? And the guy'd be like, yeah. It was like he's talking to Paul McCartney, and he's like, remember when you used to be in Wings? He's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, that was cool. You didn't have any follow up. There's no follow up at all. So I'm imagining you. It'd probably be funnier if you knew what I was talking about.
No, but it's all right. It's fine. No, I mean it is. I think most well, in fact, I think all of the people in what we do in our industry are pretty cool guys. So most of the time, it's fine. Yeah. But like imposter syndrome, like all the time, man, all the time.
Before we get off of this, so now no names for this.
Right.
Have you, because people in our industry are so very cool?
Yeah.
Have you ever run into anyone who you're like, oh man, this person's a douche? I don't like this person. Yeah, have you?
I have, yes.
Okay.
And I will not. Yeah, you want to know the third, don't you? Well, look, at the end of the day, like you're gonna, in any profession, you're gonna bump heads with people. That's just the reality of our working lives, right? I think it's the same in any industry. But yeah, there's been a couple. There's been people that have taken me for a ride. I've lost money.
Yeah.
It's not a smooth ride. Like again, I hate to keep using the word experience because it sounds like I'm really talking down to people, and I'm not trying not to do that, but it is experience, like, and you will learn a lot by just experiencing all this stuff.
So I know
knowing what to do, developing your kind of sorry mate.
No. I stepped on you. So I know industry people are like that, but no, I'm talking about artists, because by and large, artists are really, really cool people.
Artists are pretty cool. I've had people be snobby towards me.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. People have been snobby towards me, which of course doesn't help.
Yeah.
I wish Mike would stop.
Yeah,
Mike's a terrible man, isn't he? Really, I mean, like we're doing the Sunday
rest. That could be as good as me, and then I can let you in the club.
Yeah, for those in the chat, we this is not our choice. He's forcing us to be part of this.
I have something terrible on James, and I forced him to come on the show. That's the truth.
I think there's always personality clashes. I've had a few. And yeah, I think you'll work better with some people than others, and some people will be acquaintances, and some people will be your best friends. So
Yeah.
it swings and roundabouts, really. One thing I would say is to new artists, don't be afraid of that. Just experience it. Just you'll get over it. Don't be worried. I think we have this thing of, especially artists, because of the way we are. I think we have this thing that we want everyone to like us.
Yeah.
And it's just not possible. It's not possible.
Oh man, really? I should want people to like me?
Yeah, Bradley's like, hate me now.
Man, one kryptonite that I don't have, James, probably because I've come from a different industry, is I don't care who likes me. I want to be liked.
That's not true at all. Don't you believe it? That's not true.
Wait. Who have I ever said that outside of you in confidence in my feelings? I've told you I want you to like me, but then you told me I have to work for it. And
every time I tell you that I'm not a fan, you get upset. I don't know why.
I'm just saying. You hurt my feelings.
You're like a parent. You really are like a couple, you two. Like there's kind of like a dynamic going on.
It's we work at it. Sometimes he wants to divorce me, and sometimes I divorce him, but we come back.
After our last stream, we were told we were the Sanford and Son of the industry. I'm fine with that.
Is it bad that I don't know who Sanford and Son are?
Oh my gosh, James! After this, you got to YouTube Sanford and Son.
We're gonna do it, dude. Just so you know, if he has a heart attack on stream or he calls me dummy.
Yeah. So this is your homework, James. Between this Saturday and next Saturday, you have to watch.
We're gonna do it.
Sanford and Son.
It's a deal. Yeah. Okay.
You know what? I'm going to curate an episode for you.
There you go.
Okay, wicked. It's a deal.
I'm going to curate an episode for you. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm there. I'm there for that, mate. I'm there for that. So do you guys like any English sort of stuff? And do you guys get to watch any English comedy and stuff like that?
What's the name of that? Isn't Doctor Who like English?
That's not comedy, though. Come on.
It's not comedy. You don't think it's comical that the show just will never end? You don't find that comical? No.
Yeah, well, there is that. Yeah. Do you know what? I haven't watched it for ages. I'm sure it's pretty good, actually, but I haven't. It's not something that I'm a massive fan of.
I don't know where to start. I haven't watched it because I don't know where to start.
I love the Misfits.
Oh yeah, I like the Misfits too. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
I really wish they would come back with another season of that. I love that.
Yeah.
I watched all those. There was a show called oh man. There was a show where like this fog, like this green fog kind of, I like sci-fi stuff. So
yeah, me too.
This fog kind of turned everybody in the town into like these zombies or whatever. And these kids were trapped in a high school. Did you see that? It's called
no, I can't think of that.
That was pretty cool. I don't know. I'll get back to you, but yeah, no, I like a lot of stuff on BBC television.
Oh really? Okay. So do you like
recommendation?
Like Fawlty Towers or something like that, or?
I'm not a big Fawlty Towers guy. I never really got into the Monty Python, the Monty Python guys.
Yeah, Monty Python. Yeah, really? Okay.
I do like John Cleese. I'm a fan of John Cleese. I just didn't. Their humor wasn't kind of like my thing.
Yeah, it's a certain taste, isn't it? There's a certain taste to it. That's for sure. Yeah,
I loved when I was little. I loved Benny Hill, but that Benny Hill was that English or was that German?
Yeah, he's English. Yeah, no.
Okay,
English.
yeah. I love Benny Hill, but only because every once in a while they would show they'd have a boob pop out. As a kid, that was very important to me.
Yeah, well, I can see why it would be.
and spoiler alert, as an adult, that's very important to me.
Yeah, I think yeah. Who can blame you, Mike?
Mike's feelings and thoughts does not apply for us all.
No, Bradley has no interest in them at all.
There should be a disclaimer somewhere.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
So above it all.
Let's see. Frederick says, "How Not to Live Your Life was pretty good."
Do you know that one, James?
No.
Oh, the young ones. I see that.
The young ones.
Oh, the young ones are great. My God, yeah. Like Rick Mail is one of my heroes. Definitely, I just love Rick Mail. It's kind of my sort of era as well, really. I used to beg to watch the young ones on a Friday night, and I was never allowed to watch it.
Father Ted, It Crowd.
Yeah, Father Ted. If you haven't seen Father Ted, you got to watch Father Ted. One of my favorites as well.
The Office. The British version.
Yeah. Yeah, the British Office is great. Although I do like the American one as well. The American one's funny as well. So,
you know what? Now I like. Of course, now that you say that, I can't remember the name of the main dude. What's his name?
David Brent. What's his name? Can't remember the actor's name. Ricky Gervais, is it?
Ricky Gervais. So
yeah.
Ricky Gervais, and who's the tall blonde-haired guy that he's partners with? He does
David Merchant, isn't it? David Merchant or Merchant?
Yeah. That guy's humor, I'm all over that.
Yeah.
He has a show here called Hey Ladies. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't actually. No.
It's pretty funny. It's basically he thinks he's some type of ladies' man, and he's definitely not.
Hey. Well, I do like watching. I watch Superstore a lot as well. I watched a few of those sort of Office kind of spin-offs. They're not spin-offs really, but they were kind of on the back of the popularity, weren't they? And I kind of like those. They were kind of cool. Bit of fun.
But we're not going to bring up Mr. Bean? Like, that's too old?
Mr. Bean. Well, funny enough, Mr. Bean, I know it's globally popular, but like Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, like I know him more from things like The Thin Blue Line and Blackadder. Those are stuff that's the Ben Elton stuff that I really, really liked when I was a kid. Yeah, that stuff's awesome.
Red Dwarf is magic.
Yeah, Red Dwarf is wicked. Love Red Dwarf.
That's a sci-fi thing, right?
Yeah. You'd if you like sci-fi, Mike, you'd love that. It's really good. It's very British. It's very 1980s British. It's very like cheap effects and stuff. But it's quite funny the way they, it's quite a funny sort of. It's like a sitcom, really.
Yeah.
Cool.
We have a question in from Hannibal. James, does XM Studio use 3D prints to edit statue work? I was told by an ex-rep to judge how much detail will be readable. Shrink your sculpt on screen to the size it would be in person?
Yeah, there's different ways of doing that. I can't really. I mean, this is the problem we've got working digitally. I think the screen will always lie to you a little bit. So yeah, that's what I mean by maybe have a bit of experience. You need a bit of experience to know when it's actually doing it and when it isn't. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I would just find your own method, but then like I say, it's very difficult to know. Like even I struggle with that. So it's not just you. Like that's something I struggle with. So
do you own a 3D printer, James?
I have got one behind me. It's a Form 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I found so I have this I have this Iron Fist that I printed out, and I noticed that I printed it the first time and it was okay, right? I painted it and everything, but I went back in and really dug in those details to the point where it looks wrong on the screen almost. But when I printed it, oh my gosh, it was so clean. It was perfect.
Yeah. And whenever I've kind of tried to enhance the details on my sculpts, they always look right. I don't like them. Yeah. So I always try and keep it, less is more. I think really with that sort of stuff. Less is more for sure, I think. But getting near to the point of doing my sketches now. So what's it been? God, has it been nearly 2 hours, 3 hours? 2 hours?
What are we on now? Okay, so it's almost 12. Yeah, this is almost the end of the show, you guys. See, this is how you know it's a great show, James.
Yeah.
Completely lose track of time.
So wow.
What do you have on deck for the rest of the weekend?
Nothing.
That's the wrong answer. Sanford and Son. It's a Sanford and Son.
Stanford.
I know, but I have to curate an episode for him. Like I have to submit an episode for his viewing.
All right. So I don't know if I trust Bradley because he's going to show you one where he doesn't call his son a big dummy.
Oh no, I will. I'm gonna give him the whole effect so he can know how cruel that you could possibly be to me when we refer to Sanford and Son.
Okay, make sure that on Esther is in there and
you know, Mr. Sanford didn't treat Lamont well at all. You know, you never call your son a dummy. All right, it's not a good feeling. You know, Lamont had feelings too.
Listen.
Totally over my head now.
It's okay. All will be revealed. And so when they say Sanford and Son, you know how badly they're really talking about me, James. I want to I need advocates. I need advocates.
Right. So right. Let's try and.
But again, like we didn't have so we have a segment that we normally do called "What's Good." We could probably quickly try to do something. James, no pressure on you to do something. What's
yours, Bradley? I know you have something that's pretty good.
What, bro? What
you have something pretty good over there.
Hold on. What? Man, I need you to stay right there. Stay right there.
Okay.
Stay right there.
Don't hurt yourself picking it up now. All right. So James, basically, your what's good can be anything. It can be a game, a peripheral, a TV show, a movie, piece of software, anything that you're into that you're digging right now is what's good to you, and we tell our people about it.
Yeah, good. That sounds awesome. Right, let's have a look. I'm a big gamer. Have you guys played Is it Roller Drome?
No.
Does anyone play Roller Drome? That is awesome. If you've got a PS5, that is wicked. I've been really enjoying Roller Drome.
It's only on PS5?
I think so. I'm not. No, I think you can get it on PC as well. Actually, it might be on Xbox, but I'm not.
Can you explain it? What kind of game is it?
It's like a roller, like if you've ever been, I don't know, there's like I've been to a roller park or whatever, like a skate park, but with guns.
Oh yeah. So wait, roller coasters and guns? Okay, yes, please.
I like where this is going.
Yeah. And so basically,
turn my PS5 on. Let's figure this out.
It's like an indie game, really. So it's made by a small team, but it was just really good fun. There's a lot of, the gameplay is super fun. It's just a fun little game, and like you're basically doing stunts on this, like basically all various different skate parks, and they've all got their own themes. Like there's a canyon one, there's like a city one, there's like an arena one.
Well, look,
and then all of these. Sorry.
I said, look who's awake. This is our partner Raul now, who finally has perked up and decided to enter the conversation.
He's actually have been in the stream for a while.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
He's been commenting and interacting with everyone for a while.
Nice. Okay. All right. All right. So listen, that's all well and good, James. I'm going to tell you what my what's good is before Bradley closes it out, because he's got the big gun. Mine, what is still what's good for me? Hold on, let me do this. You know what's still good?
What's good?
I'll tell you what's still good. Baby, right here, son.
Oh,
right
nice.
Here.
Nice.
This is what's good. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have got
you got a new case on it? Let me see that case.
I got a little something.
Oh, you've got God of War on there. Wow.
Yeah, little God of War on here.
Nice.
Dude, I've been playing games that I started and never finished, and I'm currently remembering how dope Control was. Even though, so this is what
that's
happened.
a cool game.
Bradley loves to tell me how all these games will look so much better on my 3090
Ti.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I can play this anytime, anywhere, man. This is the power of the sun in the palm of my hand right here, and Bradley doesn't appreciate it.
No, I see. I knew it was something
on a PC is just life changing. All right,
whatever.
You need to experience.
I play this
Control, and it's life changing experience.
When 90 Day Fiance is on, and I'm being forced to watch it, I am on.
You mean you told me you love
right here.
90 Day Fiance? That's your jam.
Hey, shut up.
Dear. Right, back to the sculpting, you guys. Come on. I just wanted to. I just wanted to explain what's going on with this because
Cool.
basically, I've got my proportions. What I'm kind of happy with. It doesn't have to be perfect, but
Okay.
so basically, I know we're running out of time, but I will then do some sketches now based on these proportions with different poses that I'm happy with. So the idea is I'm going to have Death's head here. So this whole thing is going to be Death's head.
Oh, wow.
Like the top part of it. And then there's going to be all the smoke going around her. And then all of the little, all of the other judges' heads are going to be in the smoke.
Uh-huh.
And she's going to be standing on his head.
Nice.
So that's the base. So it's kind of a little bit more of an abstract base. So what I'm not sure, that's what I've got in my head. So what I'm not sure about is how the pose works. So that's where I'm going to go back when we're finished. I will go next week. I will hopefully let it all gestate in my head, and then we'll come back next weekend and I'll have some sketches, and then we can start on the statue properly.
Awesome. That's awesome.
But I kind of I would have been a bit quicker actually, but I didn't realize what the time was.
Hey man, I like that you didn't go that quickly because it gives us a chance over here. So take it easy, James. Take it easy.
Yeah. Good.
Bradley, what was your what's good?
Oh yes,
My what's good is that James wants to sculpt. That's what's good.
James, that is what's good. I don't feel like Bradley, do you feel a little bit like an employee that's been kind of slacking off and the boss comes back?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you got doing?
No, because I've been in the chat. You know, I've been in the chat and I've been doing a little sculpting, so it's getting there.
Okay, all right. What'd you get this week?
What I get? What I get this week? Hold on. I get it.
Here it comes. Here it comes. James, you ready for this?
Oh,
Wait.
let
Let me scream thing. Wait, hold on. What's that? What is that?
So the sheer fact that you can actually pick it up shows like how light it actually is.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
That's pretty cool.
That's
pretty cool.
Sheer fact that you can pick it up.
That is the brand new Cintiq 27 with a suspect corner. How's that corner doing?
Right?
Yeah, watch that.
It's okay. It's okay. I opened it already. I already opened it. It's good. It's all working.
How does it look? How's it feel?
I haven't said the base doesn't come in till Monday, so it's been in the box.
Wait a minute. You told me 30 to like 60 days on the base.
Here's what happens. Shout out to B&H for shipping that to me, but unfortunately they dropped the ball with the base. So I went directly to Wacom to buy the base, and they're expediting it for me to get it on Monday.
Oh, nice. So you're going to get a refund from B&H?
Yeah, they already refunded that.
Dope. Dude, James, can I just tell you how bummed out Bradley was when he thought he had a $3,500 iPad? He's like, there's no stand whatsoever.
Like when they came in, like it came in as a surprise. I'm like, where's the stand? Like I can't do nothing with this. Like it's an iPad at this point. Like I can't do nothing with it. And I called B&H.
That come with.
I called B&H. I'm like, when will I get the stand? She's like, well, we're going on holiday for the next 2 weeks because of the Jewish holiday, so they like close down, and they're like, it could take up to like 4 to 6 weeks. I'm like, so what you want me to do with this big screen?
I can just see it on your lap. You're trying to sort of draw on it, and it's sort of flipping around all over the place.
Big pardon?
Yeah, but it's cool now. So it'll be here on Monday. But I lucky enough, I sold my 24 Cintiq Pro, and I have, if anyone's interested, I got a 27 QHD lying around the house for sale. So if anyone want to DM me for that one, you can definitely try to get that one.
Everything must go.
I have three Cintiqs laying around. The wife won't let it stand. I gotta get rid of it.
I love it. No, that looks nice, man. I can't wait to see you crack that baby open and actually start to use it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be.
We'll know on Monday.
All right.
But that's our show. So later today, I personally will be jumping into our Discord to do a little work. I have some free time today. Wife's at work, kids are away, so it's just me hanging out. And James, I will send you a link to our Discord. And if you want to be able to jump in and hang, there's two Discords in the world that you have to be aware of. Okay,
right?
Stylus League and IR Sculpt's Discord channels. Between those two, you're covered.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Between those two Discords, you are covered for life. All right, and I will make sure you get access to both of them.
Right. Right.
I might be in there with you too later, Bradley. I gotta make some chili. But once that chili is made, I think I'm free. So
okay. So what we'll do is that we'll probably in our Discord we'll send a message to everyone. I typically don't like to message everyone when we're in there, but I'll message everyone if you want to jump in there.
What would be nice?
And
if IR came in as well. Since he's already in here.
He's when I message everyone, he'll get it. Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
But thank you for joining us for this stream. We'll be back next Saturday, same time. If you can like and subscribe, that'll be great. And we'll catch you next time.
And add comments. Listen, if you think James, nice, thanks, Ian. So if you think James is an awesome guest and human being and artist, then please comment in our YouTube. We want more like this, and we'll continue to try to bring you, these giants in the industry. So there you go.
Blur just reminded me, unfortunately, I can't generate a link right now for our Discord, but if you go to the YouTube description, there is a stagnant link there to join the Discord.
Do we have one in our link tree as well?
No, there isn't one in our link tree, but that's a good idea. I will add one in our link tree.
Okay.
All right.
James, thanks.
Have a good one, everyone. Thank you, James.
Yeah, don't hang up just yet, but yeah. All right.
No, we're cool.
All right.